Welcome and thanks for joining me. This is DoDACHu podcast, your shortcut to doing business in the DACH region. I'm Lucy, and in this podcast we explore what it really takes to succeed in German-speaking markets. If you find this episode useful, follow the podcast and join me for the next one. Ever heard of Zipf, a tiny town in Upper Austria? Probably not. But if you have ever been to a gynecologist, you have likely seen equipment made there. Zipf is the hometown to DE Healthcare's Global Competence Center for Women's Health, where ultrasound systems are developed and exported to more than 100 countries. Welcome to the DoDACHu podcast. Today we are talking about life sciences and why Austria is becoming one of the most interesting locations in Europe for this sector. To talk about this, I'm joined today by Birgit Reiter-Braunwieser, Team Lead and Director CEE and Research Location at Austrian Business Agency. Birgit, happy to have you here today. Before we jump in, could you briefly introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you very much for having me here today. It's a great pleasure. I'm with ABA, Austrian Business Agency. We are the business location agency belonging to the Austrian Ministry of Economy. With regards to my background, I'm actually an economist and political scientist by training, and I have been advising and supporting international companies wanting to explore what the business location Austria is offering to them for more than 20 years by now.
Cool career. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to have you here. And so let's jump to the first question. When people hear life sciences hub in Europe, they usually think about Germany, Switzerland, or the UK. Why should Austria be on that list?
I think Austria should be on the list, not because of its sheer size, but rather because it offers a combination of very attractive conditions for life science companies. And it's really this mix that makes Austria stand out, the mix of close cooperation between academia and the private sector, excellent research coming out of Austria, long-standing tradition in the medical sector, paired with, I would say, a very talented and motivated workforce. Austria is a good place for research in medical science, as well as for efficient production of pharmaceutical products, as well as ongoing innovation, making sure that the products stay at the cutting edge of the development of research and development.
Interesting. And it's also like in the middle of Western and Central Europe, Eastern Europe. It's like in the middle, right? The location.
And of course, one has to say we have a very strong life science ecosystem already here in Austria. We have all the big pharmaceutical companies that not only produce in Austria, but also carry out R&D activities. It's these large ecosystem players that then also invite startups to co-innovate with them. And thanks to this innovation environment, I should say, I think the life science location Austria is continuously and dynamically evolving further and getting even stronger.
Austria has only 9 million inhabitants, yet the numbers in this sector are huge. Could you help us understand what's actually driving that?
Well, I think, as I said, Austria is a knowledge-based economy. And of course, life sciences, pharma in particular, is dependent. It's very knowledge intensive We have around 1,200 companies in the life science sector operating in Austria, among them all the big players like Boehringer Ingelheim, Novartis, Sandoz, Takeda, Octa Pharma, MSD, you name it. And they operate, as I said, several production sites in Austria, several R&D centers, close ties with also the medical universities that we have in Vienna, in Graz, in Innsbruck, as well as nowadays also in Linz. There is also the private medical university of Paracelsus University in Salzburg. So it's not just Vienna, but it's really spread out through the country. And these days, now we also see that AI in life sciences is really becoming a strength of the Austrian life science ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. That sounds really really interesting. What makes Austria life sciences ecosystem different from its neighbors? It's research, production, talent, or something else?
Again, I think it's the package. On the one hand, the strong scientific excellence of the Austrian medical universities, plus, for example, the fact that the Vienna Medical University is in one campus with the General Hospital. So for companies, it's easy to find patients for the clinical trials at the later stage to really have access to patients. At the same time, I guess what's also quite interesting is the incentives that are being offered by the public sector for startups as well as for large corporates. Even clinical trials can get funding in Austria. And of course, there's also a very attractive pre-seed and seed financing for startups in the life science sectors that helps them a lot also to bridge the long development cycle for a new product, for example. I think the fact that Austria has such good quality of life is also key because international companies can find the talent that they need. And if they want to hire some international expat, then of course, usually the expats like to move to Vienna for a very interesting job because of the high quality of life in combination with moderate costs. And I think altogether also Austrian employees are motivated and loyal. So often in the life science sector, then you keep working, perhaps you switch companies, but you stay in that sector. And I think there you have a very strong talent base, not just for further clinical developments, but also for marketing, for distribution, for logistics, whatever functions you're trying to recruit.
It sounds like collaboration is the key to me in Austria. Like it's like a whole package, like the whole ecosystem is working together.
And should actually add here, we have very strong cluster initiatives. The life science clusters, they organize events, they organize matchmaking between the companies, they help also with supplier linkages. They bundle the know-how in the sector and facilitate the collaboration among the various players, whether it's a startup, an SME, or a large corporate. And we have strong cluster organizations in Vienna, in Styria, in Tyrol, and also in Upper Austria for the medical device sector. And then there is an umbrella organization even at the national level that really ensures also that many international events also take place in Austria. That actually comes on top because Vienna, for example, every year there is the huge radiology congress taking place in Vienna where 6,000 people worldwide convene to discuss the latest developments in radiology, for example.
Mm-hmm. We will talk about it, about the events a little bit later, but I would like to understand which companies are in Austria. Could you give us one or two examples, perhaps one big multinational company and smaller startup, so that show us why companies actually choose Austria?
Yeah. With regards to big players, let's talk about Novartis Sandoz, for example. They operate the last remaining penicillin production plant for all of Europe in Kundl in Tyrol. I think this is a good example for importance of the pharmaceutical industry for Europe in terms of resilience, in terms of European sovereignty, not to be dependent on the supplier linkages from Asia and so forth. So that's a great example. Another great example of a large corporate would perhaps be MSD, Merck Sharp Dome. They operate 3 production sites in Austria, in Vienna and in Krems. They produce vaccinations for humans as well as for animals. They have also a very strong R&D presence here in Austria, where they basically develop the vaccinations of the future. You also asked about the startup example. Here I could perhaps mention Ketryx. It's an example of an American-Austrian startup. One of the co-founders is Austrian, and the other one is American. And the Austrian and the American co-founder found each other in the US, founded Ketryx. It's actually an AI-supported software solution to support life science companies to speed up the development of compliant pharmaceutical or medtech products. Regulation and compliance is a huge topic in medtech and pharma, and it's very complex process to fulfill all the compliance requirements, and their AI-assisted software helps the companies to be compliant. And they, for example, set up the R&D hub and the development hub in Vienna. By now, 40 developers basically develop the solutions for the clients. And among the clients, they have 4 out of the 5 top medtech companies are already their clients using their software.
It's really interesting to see that Austria can support big companies, but also these smaller startups. We have already mentioned also this Zipf place and GE Healthcare at the start. It's a tiny city in Upper Austria. What all these tell us about how Austria's life sciences sector actually works beyond Vienna? You have actually already mentioned it, these clusters and smaller cities, and it's like a spread through the whole country. Right?
Yes, and I mean the example of GE Healthcare in Zipf in Upper Austria, I think what it shows is that even medtech production, it can remain and can be highly competitive, even in a location like Austria that is considered rather, I would say, mid-cost to high-cost location. Why? Because it's thanks to the innovative strength of the workforce. It's thanks to automation. It's thanks to I would say, the creativity and ingenuity of the local management team that this Zipf location is not just competitive within the global GE healthcare concern, but actually they currently expand the production site also in Zipf. Additional product lines are going to be now manufactured in Zipf. Plus, the R&D unit is being expanded because now GE Healthcare puts a lot of effort into AI tools to help the diagnostics for the doctors and things like that. And these kind of R&D projects are all being done there. And it also shows that, how should I say, 25 nationalities work in Zipf. The families perhaps don't live in Zipf, but they rather than opt to live in Linz or in Vienna, which is absolutely fine. Because people commute from time to time to Zipf, but it's not necessary to be there all the time. And thanks to the high quality of life, also a location like Zipf attracts the international talent that GE Healthcare needs for example, to develop all these AI tools and so forth.
Novartis has invested heavily in Tyrol. An AITHYRA was recently co-founded by the Boehringer Ingelheim Foundation as a new AI institute for medicine in Vienna. What do these decisions tell us about where the sector is heading?
Well, I guess it does show that the life science industry is certainly an industry where we see further investments. This is definitely an industry that is doing well in times like these, thanks to the fact of aging society, further developments in medicine, and so forth. And it also shows that a location like Austria is highly competitive in it, thanks to the fact of the innovation strength. Of course, there is pressure to further automatize, to bring down production costs. Actually, there is also the pressure to move towards climate neutrality in pharmaceutical production. But again, here in GE Healthcare in Zipf is the first climate neutral production site within the large GE Healthcare concern, thanks to the fact that the Austrian management team put a lot of effort into devising ways and finding energy neutral solutions, using renewable energy solutions and so forth for actually the Zipf site, plus also available incentives from the federal as well as the regional level to help the companies to move to climate neutrality. And I think the biggest trend we see right now in life sciences is, of course, thanks to the use of AI. The development process of finding new active ingredients can be speeded up. The development cycle overall can be shortened. There is also the trend we see towards precision medicine, that, for example, it's no longer one medication for everyone, but rather that it is much more personalized, the treatment and the therapies. In this aspect, actually, the medical university will soon open the new Center for Translational Medicine, where again, patients are in this Center for Translational Medicine, shortening the time that it takes from developing a new pharmaceutical product to actually getting to the first patients will be shortened tremendously.
Thanks for mentioning all these trends. We have talked about the huge companies, but is there also a real momentum for startups and scale-ups?
Yes, I would say so. For example, the large corporates, they offer office hours to the startups to co-innovate with the startups. Boehringer, for example, does that on a regular basis. Takeda does that as well. Similarly, there is pre-seed and seed funding available for startups in Austria. So I think there are various ways to foster the development of innovative life science startups. And I think especially at the combination of AI and life sciences, this is where we see quite a bit of development. Biotech, we see a lot of development currently going on.
If a foreign researcher or a company is evaluating Austria, what are the concrete financial or tax advantages to make a real difference for them?
Here, Austria offers, on the one hand, for the company, direct funding programs. These are all managed by the Austrian Research Promotion Agency, FFG, but there is a whole range of programs available, from the general program, which is a project-based, a single firm project-based support program, to thematic programs in life sciences, where often it's actually a consortia that applies for a certain research project, to all the way actually also for incentive for the individual researcher himself. There is the so-called Zuzugsfreibetrag, a kind of relocation tax allowance that actually offers highly qualified researchers and scientists moving to Austria to get a significant tax benefit, to make it more attractive for that person to move into Austria, because in general, Austria is not a low tax country, but with this Zuzugsfreibetrag, the income from, let's say, scientific results is being put tax-free for the scientists.
So it is easy to find any international team, to find qualified people, and for these startups or companies. For example, in
Yes. For the startups in Austria now, we also have the legal form of Flexco, which allows, for example, also that the startup gives non-voting shares to certain key employees. So the employee perhaps doesn't get paid a huge salary, but he can benefit from the increase in value of the share of the startup by actually getting these non-voting shares in the company. So that's one thing. And second, we at ABA can also help. We have the talent hub where companies can also put up their job announcement should they not find a qualified person in Austria. But I would say, generally speaking, there is a large talent pool available here.
I would like to stop a little bit by Vienna right now, and this AI in medicine. You have already mentioned it, but what's going on now in Vienna in this sector?
Yeah, last year the new institute AITHYRA was established here. The focus is really using AI for to speed up the research in life sciences. We have a scientific director, Mr. Bronstein from Oxford. Nowadays, we have, I think, already 15 research groups established there. The decision for Vienna was taken after a rather international competition of various cities to get this new institute, because the new institute was set up by a 150 million euro pledge by the Boehringer Ingelheim Foundation, and also some co-funding from the Austrian government then. But they deliberately chose Vienna thanks to the fact that there is really core strength in AI as well as in medical science.
That sounds very, very future focused and oriented. For a Czech company or startup listening to this and thinking about expanding, doing R&D, or finding partners in Austria, what would be the first concrete step for them?
For an early stage startup, I would suggest to come and talk to us, either to you or directly to me. We will first listen, see where the startup stands and what they need, and then basically provide tailor-made information and support based on the needs of the startup. If it's very early stage, well, one has to see. Perhaps expanding to Austria doesn't make any sense yet, but nevertheless, we will try our best to help make connections, whether it's on the research side, whether it's on early stage, already corporate partnerships, things like that.
Mm-hmm. And what does it cost, the cooperation with the ABA?
Austrian Business Agency is a governmental agency. We get our annual budget from the Ministry of Economy, and with that, we can offer all our services completely free of charge and completely confidential.
Hmm. So it lowers the barrier quite a lot.
Absolutely. And we can help connect with the cluster organizations, with corporate partners, whatever is needed. And certainly we would encourage also a Czech startup to come and attend the Austrian life science events. Usually excellent networking is guaranteed through a matchmaking app that really facilitates the contacts.
If someone wants to follow up after listening to this or to our conversation, where should they go? Should they visit some event or should they visit our webpage? What would you
Yeah.
recommend?
We have a great lineup of upcoming events. First, you will actually represent us at Prague Bio in Prague on September 23rd. On October 1st and 2nd, there will the grand opening of the Center of Translational Medicine at the Medical University here in Vienna. This is definitely worthwhile a visit. We organize a special site tour for company representatives of the Center of Translational Medicine in the afternoon. And following that, one could even also have a site tour of the campus of the Institute of Science and Technology in Klosterneuburg. That would also be very interesting. In the evening, there is the Big X conference, where you will have leading pharmaceutical companies as well as investors also be present. And on October 2nd, the Medical University is doing a big international conference on precision medicine. So that all of that takes place in English. So it probably would be worthwhile coming to Vienna for 2 days. And for those who are more in the biotech sector, October 13th to 14th, there will be the Biotech Austria Summit taking place in Innsbruck, where again, the big biotech scene will be present. Tyrol, Styria, Vienna, all in one place in Innsbruck.
As you have mentioned, it's a really great lineup. It sounds like autumn is going to be a busy season for anyone interested in life sciences in Austria. Birgit, thank you so much for taking the time and for sharing all these with us today. Any final thought you would like to leave our listeners with?
Well, I can only invite you all to reach out to us and to hopefully see you next time in Vienna or in Austria.
Thank you. For everyone listening, if you are heading to Prague Bio on the September 23rd, I will be there representing ABA, as Birgit has mentioned before. So feel free to come and say hi. And if you want to learn more or get in touch with Birgit directly, everything you need is at investinaustria.at, and we also share useful links in the show notes. Until next time, and thanks for listening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.